Father in heaven, we are so grateful to be able to gather here tonight to work for the taxpayers and the people that reside in Wells County. Please be with us as we make the decisions that impact everybody's lives. We also ask that you watch over and take care of those that defend us, from Army to military to first responders, firefighters, police, all those that work so hard to protect us every single day. We say these things in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right, the first order of business is approving the November 4th minutes that Lisa had sent out. If nobody has any questions regarding the minutes, do I have a motion to approve them?
So moved.
Thank you, Todd. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Vicki. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so we'll go to additionals. The first additional on the list was $2,000 for part-time for coroner. I spoke to our chief deputy coroner, and obviously there's been a lot of additional time put in by all the deputies and chief deputies with the situation involving the coroner. However, she informed me that they do not need an additional. What they likely might do is come to us at our year-end meeting here towards the end of December and do a transfer, because there's money sitting in accounts that they can already use. So we'll go ahead and vote. At least I'll make a motion to vote nay, to turn down the additional, because it's not going to be needed. So
Second that motion.
thank you, Steve. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Superior Court, Judge, if you want to come on up.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank each of you for your public service. I'm back again because I need money to pay for mental health evaluations that have been completed. This will be the last time I'm here for this year, and hopefully next year we'll have enough money already budgeted that I won't be back before you. Again, as I told you the last time I was here asking for this same type of appropriation, the court is required under Indiana statute, when there's a motion filed either by the defendant or the prosecutor, to appoint a psychiatrist and a psychologist to do an evaluation. This year it's been a little bit, seems like we've had more than average, but we've also had some individuals who have been found not to be competent or not able to assist their counsel in proceeding with the defense or proceeding with the case. And I think I've actually had two individuals that were sent either to Lebanon or Richmond that have since been released, and their cases are back on my docket. But again, that's why I'm asking for this money. It's one of those, I don't really have too much of a choice in order for my court to be able to function properly without responding and having counsel then be able to appropriate money to pay the doctors that do these evaluations. So I'll take any questions.
Will this get you through the end of the year?
Yes.
What has been expended so far in 2025?
I'm not sure.
Lisa, do you have that?
I know I've been in front of you two times for probably close to $7,500, $8,000 more appropriations this year. As a round guesstimate.
Well, we have no choice. I'll make a motion to appropriate that.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Todd. Todd, you seconded, right?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Judge.
Thank you all.
Yep.
Happy holidays.
You too.
You as well.
Community Transition Program is next for $13,400. Thank you, Madison, for showing up. I think this is probably straightforward, but
Yes, it is. So essentially what I'm asking is to be able to transfer that $13,400 from our CTP fund just into our project income fund. They're just listed different.
Is this a transfer then?
She's got to appropriate it before it can be moved.
Okay.
any other questions for Madison? If not, do I have a motion to approve the $13,400 Community Transition Program additional?
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank-
Who was that?
That was Brandon, wasn't it?
Okay.
Thank you, Vicki. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Convention, visitor, and tours. Audrey, if you want to come up.
For my quarterly update or for the,
This will be just for the additional.
okay.
Yeah, for the, it looks like a couple additionals for director and rent.
oh, okay,
I believe that what that basically is there's a new method that we're having to do for the
Right.
accounting for the innkeeper's tax. It used to be that the funds flowed through the chamber. That can no longer happen. So that's now flowing through the auditor's office, correct?
so I don't know about additional, I guess I'd have to talk more with Lisa about that, 'cause-
This is just for whatever might be paid out in December.
oh, okay.
Right, because then we
Okay.
get reimbursed for the amount through the innkeeper's tax.
Okay,
It'll
if
be-
that,
Yes.
okay, if that's how that works, if it's coming from the general and not from
Yeah,
that
it's
fund,
coming
okay,
From the convention.
okay. Yeah, we might
Yeah,
need to
you have
talk
your
more
own
in
line,
detail on
you
how
have
that
your own
goes.
line item now.
Right, okay.
So,
So that is a so I'll be transitioning from, I was a W-2 employee under the chamber. I'll now be out of that and being a 1099 contractor. We're working through that contract right now just to make sure things are A-okay. But once that changes over, then yes, it will all be going through the county funds. So, yeah. I don't know if that brings
yeah,
up any
I've been
questions
up to speed,
further.
I've been brought up to
Okay.
speed. I know the county attorney's working on finishing up some of the
Yep.
paperwork, I believe, Scott, if there's, but essentially, the funding had to be, the State Board of Accounts, my understanding was, said basically that going forward, it should run through the county, not the county to the chamber.
Yeah, so we were birthed
cover.
out of the chamber, and so
Right.
from there, we were spending funds. Well, they were able to do that on our behalf, and then we would reimburse from that convention fund in order to repay the costs that we had already spent, so.
No change to the overall cost structure.
Correct.
Right.
It's handled differently.
Yeah, the way
At the
we have to
county
account
level.
for it is being done different per the State Board of Accounts.
Right, and I'll have to get familiar with how I do any sort of expense reporting.
She's good, she'll get you there.
Yeah.
So, any other questions for Audrey? If not, do I have a motion to approve the convention, visitor, and tours additional?
So moved.
Thank you, Steve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Vicky. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. We'll have you back up in a few minutes. Lit public safety. So that was a utility expense. I don't know if everyone saw, the sheriff did not make it tonight. But was everybody pretty clear in writing what happened with the utility? These asking for the 20,000 additional. If there are no questions, do I have a motion to approve the additional for the utilities through lit?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Todd. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Brian. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Lloyd Special Distribution for Local Match.
Good evening.
Good evening, Nate. So it looks like you have a couple on here, if you want to just start with.
Yeah, yep. So the first one that you mentioned, the Lloyd Special Distribution Funds, Lisa had brought that to my attention, that there were some funds available there that just had not been appropriated yet. And I had mentioned that with us entering the right-of-way purchasing phase for County Road 200 South, that those funds would be able to put to good use. So that's my plan, is just to use those to supplement some already appropriated funds for the right-of-way purchasing phase.
Any other questions for Nate?
Nate, I have a question, and it may not, it's a little away from the money part. Are we still in an interlocal agreement with the city on
Yes.
this project, for the 200 project?
Yes, we are.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if anything had changed from where we originally were with the original setup.
Just recently renewed the interlocal, just because the original interlocal had an expiration date.
Oh, okay.
So we did an addendum that was approved last evening.
Okay, so everything's still the same as the original, okay.
Yep.
Do I have a motion to approve the Lloyd Special Distribution?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Brian. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Vicky. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, and then the local tax grant, again, seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah, so basically, the last appropriation that was done for the Hoosier Highway, the local tracks project, predated my employment with Wells County. So we have reached a point where expenditures have gone beyond what was originally appropriated, but we are also in the phase where we're getting our FRA grant reimbursements. So essentially, NDOT is invoicing Wells County, we're paying the invoice, submitting that for reimbursement to FRA. So we just need to appropriate to have permission to spend the funds so the account doesn't show overdrawn, but essentially all of
And then it'll get reimbursed back, right?
It comes back around.
Okay. Any other questions for Nate? If not, do I have a motion to approve the local tax, or Trax Grant 20.205? I'll make that motion. Thank you, Steve. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Todd. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Nate.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go ahead and move on to transfers. Looks like we have clerk, Beth, if you want to come on up.
All right, I'm requesting a transfer for postage. As I said, when I did my budget, I was probably going to run out of postage. I'm going to hit it really, really close. So I had a little bit of money left in my supply, so I was requesting to transfer $500, into the postage line so I can go ahead and get some more postage for the end of the year here. And then the other one was our copy machine lease. I think the fees have just went up. It just ran short of what I had in that budget by $50, so I was transferring the $50 just to cover that. Is that an internal one?
That's, yeah, account to count.
Probably is.
Yeah, that must be count,
Yeah.
yeah, because I don't see that on here.
Yeah.
So,
So the 500 is the only one I guess I need council approval for.
do I have a motion to approve the request from the clerk for $500 from Circuit Superior Supplies to postage?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Todd. Do I have a second? Thank you, Steve. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you, Beth. Jared, looks like you're up next for surveyor. Good evening.
And I apologize, I left all of my paperwork laying on my desk at the courthouse, so I don't have the exact dollar amounts and all that in front of me, but you should have those in front of you.
Yep.
Essentially transferring money from some unused funds, I think one of them was in the gas and oil fund, and I forget what the other, over to two of the payroll line items, one for the part-time clerical assistant to cover comp time that Diana accrues and takes off, and the other is for my salary line item that I'm happy to report that as of a couple weeks ago, I became a licensed surveyor.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
No, that was a process, so
About 12 years.
great job. Now, what are you going to do with all your free time?
I don't know, sleep again, I guess, but yeah, it's to cover the last, I believe.
the end of the year?
Last two pay periods of this year.
Okay.
And then for 26, it was already budgeted, so.
Or I think we do have a salary ordinance to vote on for
Yeah.
2026.
Yes.
So we'll vote on that here in a few minutes.
Yep.
All right, do I have a motion to approve the transfers for the surveyor?
So moved.
Thank you, Vicky. Do I have a second?
Second.
Brian?
Brian?
Okay.
Sure, yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Jared.
Thank you.
Jared.
County Extension. So it doesn't look like anyone's here. It looks like that was just a transfer for the pay matrix to computers.
So the computers were going off of a lease.
Is there extra money in the pay matrix to cover the 10,000?
A lot of this year, he only had one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so
there
there
is-
were more money budgeted in the
Yep.
pay side. Okay. Any questions? If not, do I have a motion to approve the county extension request for the transfer?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Vicky. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Brian. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Community Corrections Project Income and Community Corrections Grant 1. Now you can come back
Now I
up.
can come back up. Okay, so the first one is for the project income. We were required to purchase 2 new computers so that they were up to date with the Windows 11. And so we just wanted to take money from our service contracts and dues and subscriptions to cover those. So that's the first one.
Okay.
And then the second one is the grant. We want to transfer $12,060 from what was budgeted for the group health insurance, and transfer that to a number of things: office supplies, drug testing supplies, travel fees, maintenance agreement, service contract, and then trainings. And was that it? Or was there?
Those were the ones. So were we off that much on the group health insurance, if there was that much money left over in it?
Well, we had staff in the beginning
that's
of the
true.
year, and there's a lot less
Yeah, we had a
staff
reduction in
now.
staff.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we got approval from DOC to be able to use those grant funds on these other
Okay,
things.
so DOC approved your
Yep.
use of funds for those reasons. Okay.
You have some in the council account that they don't approve.
Okay. I knew I had those, I just didn't know if they had those or not, so.
Any questions regarding those items? If not, do I have a motion to approve both the Community Correction Project income transfers and the Community Corrections Grant 1 transfers?
So moved.
Thank you, Brandon. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Brian. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. All right, looks like the next one is to get the annual update from Rick and Trent regarding EMS. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening. Thanks for having us back. I sent an email out to each of you with my annual update. First part is just kind of give an overall reminder of background of the relationship with the EMS and the county. From that, then, just an update, a few items, just to give you an idea of where we are with our statistics. Primarily running about the same run volumes as before. Similar payer mix between Medicare, Medicaid, and private pay. About 2/3 of our runs are actually chargeable runs. That doesn't mean they're collectible, just means they're billable. We have collected about 33% of what we charge off of our standard rates. We've gained a little momentum during the year, we noticed, with our contracted billing service, and we've actually picked up some revenue, about $688 revenue per chargeable run this year compared to $527 in the past. So what's that, about $161 on average more, which cuts our loss per run from $509 to $429 every time that truck goes out. Or, I'm sorry, every time a chargeable run goes out. Of course, a non-chargeable run, we're not going to get anything out of it. Again, still maintaining 3 locations to provide timely response in outlying areas. The goal of having a paramedic on every run, that's a little hard to do at times with staffing. Response times are at about 750 on average. I think the goal is 13 minutes in the county, 9 minutes in the city, so we're beating those averages all over the place. Labor market, of course, is tight like before. We've had that discussion. You all made some changes to the property tax credit system. Thank you. That added, we're basically receiving $351,220 from the county in '25 and again in '26. So that will help. Rick, any other thoughts on the EMS that you'd like to, and we'll talk about the foundation. Yeah, currently we're in pretty good shape. We got 1 full-time opening. I'm looking to fill as soon as I can. We got a new truck coming next month. That'll help things out with that. Run volume was up during the summer and fall. It's kind of tapered off right now, going into winter, but we haven't hit flu season yet. And with that, I'll take any questions if anybody has any.
You want to talk a little bit about what is a non-chargeable versus chargeable run?
Sure. A non-chargeable run, for example, is a car accident we get dispatched on, but nobody wants to be transported to the hospital. That's a non-chargeable run. A fire standby is a non-chargeable run. A car accident unknown is a non-chargeable run. If we don't transport, we don't bill. So there's a lot of runs we're dispatched on where we don't end up transporting. We check them out at the scene for whatever reason. They decide not to go. We don't bill for that.
Any other questions for?
And where's the increased expense on something like that? From just sitting there and having the people ready to go, you go to a car accident, let's say a block away, what's the charge? What's the extra cost there? Help me understand that.
I'm not understanding what you're.
So you go on a run.
Sure.
A mile away from where you started.
Right.
How much cost is in that when you talk about a billable versus non-billable?
Billable run would just be if we transport, depending on supplies and everything else we use, that's a charge. Whether
Yeah.
it's advanced life support, basic life support. If we don't end up charging or transporting, I should say.
There's not that much extra cost. per
Correct,
se.
there's not.
Okay, got it. I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah, there's not.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of it's gonna be fixed. You've gotta have your staffing.
Yeah, they're gonna be,
Obviously, your mileage is gonna cost money to run that truck up and down the road versus
fuel.
let it sit at the station, but, yeah, a lot of it's fixed costs.
But you're not losing money by, okay, not transporting that guy
Correct,
a mile
we're not,
away?
no.
Okay, got you.
Just fuel, but yeah.
Yes, sure.
So then we get to the foundation. We've been kind of tracking that thing for you since 2017. We're down to $3.4 million currently. We were at 3.5 back in June 30 when we had our fiscal year end. 4.1 the year before that, 5.2 back in '22, 6.9. So you can see it's coming down as we had discussed. For the 12 months ending October, we've got our money. Some of it is invested, some of it is basically in preserved capital, so we make sure that it's there for the next run or for the next grant cycle. But overall, we earned 8.65% in the market on what was there. The foundation support, the EMS in fiscal '25, it was $951,000. The year before that was $916,000. Again, fiscal year end is June 30. For 2026, our budget calls for $1.2 million combined support between the foundation and the county, and you can see the split there. We're looking at a foundation longevity, looking at around 4 years now. So it's been coming down about a year at a time. So any additional, any money you can give us helps drag that thing out a little bit further, so. Guess any other questions?
So the deficit is roughly $1 million a year?
Yeah. I mean, with the support this year, we actually showed a little bit of a profit, but, that's just all donated money is what that is, so. But we finished the year without debt. We finished the year right at budget. Actually, collections were a little above budget because we did a little bit better in collections. So it was a positive year on a year-over-year basis, but tough business.
What occurred, so if you look at point number 9, what happened? What started draining that fund? Is this just an explosion in costs?
Explosion in costs and the inability to really raise rates. Medicare, Medicaid has not increased what they have paid us a decade.
It's early 2000s.
So within really the inflation over the last 5 years, things were stable before then. Is that fair to say?
It is. Right after COVID is when the competition for paramedics jumped all through Northeast Indiana mostly. So wages, salaries had to drastically increase to stay competitive with everybody else. And that just blew up. With Allen County going to fire districts, they're taking every paramedic available, so everybody else is competing with them. And wages, salaries, benefits is by far our biggest expense.
Yeah, right. And other counties are experiencing this same issue, other rural counties?
Yep.
Yeah. I've got a point up here, Brandon, that talks about what other counties put in, but I guess I don't give you the number, but number 6, significant amount of overhead is borne by hospitals in other counties. We have to bear our own billing, liability, health insurance. Those things really came evident in our early years, when we were no longer running under the cover of the Wells County Hospital.
Yeah.
The cost, the overhead costs were just tremendous. That used to be just covered by the county hospitals.
I can tell you just, Parkview just got the contract with Miami County, started the first year. In year one, the county's paying them 1.2 million. Year two is 750,000, years three, 500,000, then the contract will start over. But that's an example of what other counties are paying for other services.
And Commissioner Stringer, President of the Commissioners, and myself have been working with alternative possible solutions out there, looking that we got 4 years. We don't want to wait till 4 years to make a decision, but we are looking at the viability of what we will need to do as a county coming up when this money does run out, which I know we've talked about it before, but we've had some pretty good conversations in the last couple months that could lead hopefully some good outcomes for the county and the cost structure of EMS. So there is some discussions happening to look at how we can help to close that funding gap.
Thank you, both.
Any other questions for Rick or Trent? All right.
All right.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Audrey, if you want to come back up as well. Hello.
And as always, I give you a lot more information than you can digest here, but take that for fun reading or just to reference. If you have some questions that you want to look back on and how the visitor economy is working right now in Wells County. But you can take a look at the financial spreadsheet in front of you. This is our innkeeper's collections, and it does show you year over year and year to date. Last I talked to you, my last quarterly report, I think I only had reports through May, and that was showing a revenue decrease of 32%. We've improved by 2%. We're now standing at 30% revenue decrease. And I mentioned last time that we're looking into why this is impacting so hard this year. We know that trends have changed over time with the impact of COVID, but it hasn't really stopped travel overall. There's still very much interest and even more value added to travelers. And at the end of this information I've given you, you'll see the American Travel Sentiment Study, which I receive on a regular basis just to show you just different trends in the travel market across the nation. But for right now, our current year-over-year collections is standing at a decrease of 30%. And as of today, we've collected, or I'm sorry, not today, but as of our last report received, we do stand at $61,662.39 collected in 2025. Now, that's not what our account is standing at, of course, but this is what we've collected in this year, working out of a $80K budget. So with that, our 2026 budget, we've had to decrease to 70 to accommodate, have to make some changes in where we're spending our funds. And what that looks like. So we have our strategic plan committee working to make sure we're using what little we have to the best of our ability and making partnerships with our visitor assets and increasing relationships with our lodging owners. So our Airbnbs, our hoteliers, things of that nature to meet our visitor resource needs. You're welcome to look that over. I do have Travel Indiana Guide. We put this out quarterly. We do have mentions in here. We don't put this out, sorry. The Travel Indiana puts this together, and I do work to put articles in here that highlight Wells County events and places of note. So right now, Parlor City Christmas is mentioned on page 39 in here. These are really nice. They're spread all throughout the state at rest stops and places of interest to visitors. So that's a really good one to be in. This is just an example of some of the things that we work on throughout the year.
Is there anything we may have asked this before, but really attribute the big drop, the 30%, and is it lack of stays within Wells County
Yeah.
compared to, because the other 2 years were pretty
Yes.
consistent, and now suddenly a big drop. Is there anything
Right.
that you?
I have talked to one of our hoteliers, and he's noted a decrease in our contracts are contracts with work stays. So with our manufacturers for extended periods, and so we're losing a lot of those to South Allen County. Some of the things that they've noted is ease of travel. So if they come in without a car, they're going to be using Uber, things of that nature, to and from the airport. So we're kind of keeping an ear and eyes open for anything that we can do to kind of help with that. I've talked with Jessica Best with Economic Development to see if there's a way we can connect with our manufacturers locally and see if there's ways that we can build those relationships back up and maybe rebuild those contracts. I don't know how much of this impact has been from that, though.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of that has been over time, and I won't know individual contracts or anything. But other than that, I'm not seeing this much of an impact with other counties around us. I don't have their numbers sitting in front of me, but Huntington hasn't shared. We do have an owner of a hotel here in Wells County that owns one in Huntington, and they're not seeing the same thing. So I do have a lot of questions about that. I know Jessica said that there's some data that maybe we can access to see, because the overnight stays do not necessarily contribute, or they don't reflect not having visitors. Our visitation is increasing, and from the annual updates I give you guys, we have had increased visitor spending and increased visitation, but that's not reflecting in overnight
staying
stays,
the night.
which is our revenue.
It's not staying over.
Yeah, right now, that's our only source of revenue, so,
Right.
yeah.
Okay. Any other questions for Audrey? All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Merry Christmas to you, too. All right, the next one under other business, the extension contractual services agreement. There's nothing unusual with this one, is there? It's standard.
The amount that is in this contract
Is what's in the budget? Okay,
and this is just for the president's signature.
okay. Does anyone have any questions over the extension contractual services agreement? If not, do I have a motion to approve it?
Yeah, I'll make that motion, so.
Thank you, Scott. Do I have a second? Thank you, Vicky. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the next one actually is a fun one, the 2026 surveyor salary ordinance for the increase in pay for our surveyor for getting all of his work completed, education. What is the ordinance number, 2025-17? Any questions? If not, do I have a motion to approve Wells County Council Ordinance 2025-17?
Make that motion.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Todd. All in favor?
Aye.
And then the next one are just a few of the board appointments. We'll have some additional board appointments that we do the beginning of January, which are mostly the appointments from the council members for the ones that we serve on. So we do that usually the 1st of January. So looks like most of these will be pretty. What's that, Todd?
Nothing.
Okay. Rest of these, I think, are pretty straightforward. Alcohol Beverage Commission. I'll make a motion for each of these separately, just so we can have on the record. But Tony Garton's been on there for a while. He was the only one that submitted an application. Do I have a motion to approve Tony Garton as the Alcohol Beverage Commission appointee?
So moved.
Thank you, Steve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Brandon. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, we do need an alternate to Vicky, who serves on the area plan. Scott raised his hand to do this. So do I have a motion to approve Scott Elzey as an area plan alternate?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Todd. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Vicky. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So we have a couple people on here for the next one that we can debate. However, I think for the Health Department Board, Chris Esterling has done from everything I've talked to her, has done a phenomenal job. No doubt could Preston do a good job as well, but my attitude would be more supporting Chris Esterling. We can debate that. If not, I can go ahead and move for an approval for Chris Esterling to remain on the Health Department Board.
Chris has helped us navigate some difficult challenges, and I'd second that motion.
Thank you, Brandon. Well, I need a first. You want a first? We'll let
I'm
Brandon
sorry,
be
I
the
thought you
first.
made it all right.
Yeah,
so
I'll make a
moved.
make a
Yes.
motion first.
I'll second.
Thank you, Steve. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. The next one is, she submitted via email, which is fine to be reappointed, didn't fill out the actual application, but it would be to leave Stephanie Tucker on as the Ossian Economic Development, leave her on the Ossian Economic Development Commission.
And that's the one we had the confusion a year ago.
We did.
that's right.
We weren't sure if
We didn't know if we were nominating.
Correct, but we do actually.
Yeah, okay.
And it's an annual appointment.
Yeah, it's done yearly.
I will make that motion.
Thank you, Scott. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Vicky. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, the next one is to have Scott Elzey remain on the Tourism Commission. Do I have a motion to approve Scott Elzey?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Vicky.
I'll second.
Todd, second. Scott, you didn't jump in to make a
know.
motion for yourself. I know,
No
but-
choice.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And then the last one is to, I believe Zane is already on there, is to just reappoint Zane as the Tourism Commission as well.
And I'll make that motion there.
Thank you, Scott. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Brandon. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Anything else from the greater good? If not, do I have a motion to conclude the meeting? Vicky?